In between, it is little bit cutting, Mataji.
Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। गंगा माई की जय। पूना माई की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All
Hari Hari
glories
Bol.
to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्तो भद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सताम्. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, The Passing Away of Bhishma Dev, Text 43. Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Manovag Drishti Vrittibhihi Atmanyatmanam Aveshya Sontah Shvasa Uparamat. Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Manovag Drishti Vrittibhihi Atmanyatmanam Aveshya Sontah Shvasa Uparamat. Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Manovag Drishti Vrittibhihi Atmanyatmanam Aveshya Sontah Shvasa Uparamat. Please chant.
Hare Krishna. Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Mano Vagdrashti Vrittibhihi Atmani Atman Nam Avesha Sovanta Swasa Uparamat.
Hare Krishna. Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Mano Vagdrushti Vrittibhihi Atmanyatmanamaveshya Santa Sahasvasa Uparamat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sutta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Mano Vagdrishti Bhrittivi Atmanya Atma Avesya Sovanta Swasa Uparamat. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Mano Vagdrishti Vrittibhi Atmanye Atmanam Aveshya Soantasvasa Uparama. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So we can do the word-to-word translation. Can you make it a little smaller? We are not able to see the whole thing. Suta Uvacha. Suta Goswami said, Krishna, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, evam, only, Bhagavati, unto him, Manaha, with mind, Vak, speech, Drishti, sight, Vrittibhihi, activities, Atmani, unto the super soul, Atmanam, the living being, Aveshya, having merged in, Saha, he, Antah Shvasaha, inhaling, Uparamat, became silent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhuji, we are hearing echo of my voice, so if somebody needs to mute, please mute yourself. Okay, translation. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord. 43. Suta Goswami said, thus Bhishma Dev merged himself in the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions, and thus he became silent and his breathing stopped. Let me read it again, the translation. Suta Goswami said, thus Bhishma Dev merged himself in the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions. And thus he became silent and his breathing stopped. Purport. The stage attained by Bhishma Dev while quitting his material body is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi because he merged his self into thinking of the Lord and his mind into remembering his different activities. He chanted the glories of the Lord, and by his sight, he began to see the Lord personally present before him. And thus all his activities became concentrated upon the Lord without deviation. This is the highest stage of perfection. And it is possible for everyone to attain this stage by practice of devotional service. The devotional service of the Lord consists of 9 principles of service activities, and they are 1. Hearing, 2. Chanting, 3. Remembering, 4. Serving the lotus feet, 5. Worshipping, 6. Praying, 7. Executing the orders, 8. Fraternizing, and 9. Fully surrendering. Any one of them or all of them are equally competent to award the desired result. Any one of them or all of them are equally competent to award the desired result, but they require to be practiced persistently under the guidance of an expert devotee of the Lord. The first item, hearing, is the most important item of all, and therefore hearing of the Bhagavad Gita and later on Srimad Bhagavatam is essential for the serious candidate who wants to attain the stage of Bhishma Dev at the end. The unique situation of Bhishma Dev's time of death can be attained even though Lord Krishna may not be personally present. His words of the Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam are identical with the Lord. They are sound incarnations of the Lord, and one can fully utilize them to be entitled to attain the stage of Sri Bhishma Dev, who was one of the 8 Vasus. Every man or animal must die at a certain stage of life, but one who dies like Bhishma Dev and attains perfection, and one who dies forced by the laws of nature dies like an animal. I'll read this again. Every man or animal must die at a certain stage of life. Where are we? Sorry. Yeah, every man or animal must die at a certain stage of life, but one who dies like Bhishma Dev attains perfection, and one who dies forced by the laws of nature dies like an animal. That is the difference between a man and an animal. The human form of life is especially meant for dying like Bhishma Dev. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshur Unnilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhano Sute Devi, Pranamami Haripriye, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 43. Suta Goswami said, thus Bhishma Dev merged himself in the super soul Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions. And thus he became silent and his breathing stopped. So, Bhishma Dev, when the time of Uttarayana had arrived, Bhishma Dev stopped speaking to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He stopped giving instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And he withdrew his mind, his thoughts, of course, his senses, from all other subject matters. And he focused all his attention on the Supreme Lord. And what was he doing in that state? He was looking at the beautiful form of Lord Krishna, and with his speech, he was glorifying Lord Krishna. With his speech, he was glorifying Lord Krishna, chanting the glories of Lord Krishna. And with his mind, he is remembering Krishna in his various features, especially Krishna in two principal features. He was the one that is most attractive to him. He was remembering Krishna as Partha Sarathi, the charioteer of Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And also, he was remembering Krishna as the master of the gopis. So there Srila Prabhupada said, he was remembering Krishna as the charioteer of Arjun because that was the most attractive, that is the relationship that Bhishma Dev had with Lord Krishna, Partha Sarathi. But also he was remembering Krishna as the master of the gopis, how the gopis were attracted to Krishna, how they had attained the exalted position of being on an equal footing with Krishna because of their exalted bhakti. So by remembering the gopis, Bhishma Dev was aspiring to receive the mercy, the blessings of the gopis, who are the dearest devotees of the Lord. Another, so the point is, his mind is completely absorbed in Krishna. His vision, he is looking at Krishna in front of him, and with his speech, he is glorifying Krishna. What is he saying? He's actually saying these words. Let my mind be, all the last few verses that we read. What is Bhishma Dev saying? At the moment of death, with his mouth, with his words, he's saying, at the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjun, like that. And then let my mind be fixed upon Lord Sri Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Vrajadham, the gopis. And now he's also remembering Krishna and Rajasuya Yagya. At the Rajasuya Yagya, performed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. And this happened in my presence. I was there when that happened. And I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. Now, and the last thing that Bhishma Dev said was, now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord Sri Krishna who is now present before me. So his realization was that he had transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to the Lord's presence in everyone's heart. So now he's only, so that shloka, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So somebody, Gyani may say it is Brahman everywhere. A yogi will say it is Paramatma in every atom. He's only seeing Paramatma everywhere, within his heart and in every atom, in every living entity. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini. A learned sage, by virtue of his true knowledge, he sees with equal vision a learned Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. What is that equal vision? He's seeing the same Paramatma in every living being. Therefore, he has an equal vision. And even someone who is Brahman realized, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na sochati na kangshati, samaha sarveshu bhuteshu, mad bhaktim labate param. He's able to see everyone with an equal vision because he's seeing that Brahman, that supreme Brahman everywhere. But what is Bhishma Dev seeing? He's seeing that that Brahman and Paramatma is not somebody else. It is Krishna only. It is Vasudev that is there in everything. The same Krishna who is standing in front of him, he's seeing that same Krishna everywhere, in everyone's heart as Paramatma and as Brahman everywhere. He's only seeing Krishna. This is Bhishma Dev's realization. And then, now Suta Goswami is telling us what happened at that point. Bhishma Dev merged himself in the super soul. So what do we understand by super soul now? Already Bhishma Dev said that he is seeing the same Krishna everywhere. So super soul is not different from Krishna. He's seeing that Krishna everywhere. He's not seeing super soul as four-handed Vishnumurti and Krishna as two-handed Parthasarthi in front of. No, he's seeing his Parthasarthi everywhere. And Bhishma Dev merged himself into that super soul. Now, what do we mean by merging? Did he actually, like Sayujya Mukti, like he merged his soul into the soul and he became one with the Lord? That's not the understanding. Why? Because Bhishma Dev is a bhakta. He's a devotee. A devotee, for a devotee, Sayujya Mukti is worse than hell. It's hellish to even consider merging with the Supreme. Because you merge into the Lord, there is that type of liberation also. Merging into Brahma Jyoti or merging into the personal form of the Lord. That is also possible. But a devotee will never aspire for that. Because then, where is the scope for interaction with the Lord? There won't be any exchange of service, of love. You will be there, merged with him, one with him. So devotee will never accept that liberation. So Bhishma Dev merged himself in the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions. So in the Sanskrit shloka, it says, Krishna evam bhagavati mano vad drishti vritti bihi. So manaha means mind, vak means words, and drishti means your sight, eyesight. So Bhishma Dev, he merged into the Supreme Lord by means of his mind, his words, and his vision. And not only that, with his activities. Atmani, Atmanam, Avesha. Avesha means merging. Atmani is into the Supreme Lord. Atmanam, himself, he merged. How? Through his mind, through his words, and through his vision. So this is very significant for us also, because we are also practicing devotional service. So in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami explains pure devotional service. Pure devotional service, there are 4 conditions that need to be fulfilled for pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavritam, anukulyena krishnanushilanam. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Any desire other than pleasing the Lord should be 0. Anya abhilashita shunyam. No other desire. So the purpose of your devotional service is pleasing Krishna. There is no other motive behind your rendering devotional service to Krishna, save and except the pleasure of Krishna. That's first condition. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Second condition, jnana karma adi anavritam. Your bhakti, your devotional service should not be covered by jnana, karma, etc. What is jnana, what is karma, and what is etc.? What's other things? So bhakti means, this we will come back to it again. I'll come back to this point again. Jnana karmadi anavritam. For now, let's understand jnana karmadi anavritam means your service should not be covered by jnana, karma, etc. Anukulyena, it has to be favorable. Sometimes when we serve someone, it can be service out of fear. Yes, you have someone more powerful and out of fear, you're an obedient servant to that person. That devotional service is not out of fear. And sometimes we do it out of anger, isn't it? We are expected to complete some service, right? You have a responsibility to do, you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. So you just do it out of anger and it's done, and then let me get out of here. So that is not anukulyena. So when Krishna came as a messenger to Hastinapur, messenger of the Pandavas, Duryodhan was receiving him. Duryodhan wanted to bribe Krishna. So he served Krishna very nicely when Krishna came. He received him with great pomp and with great humility. And he arranged a big feast. He arranged for Dushasan's palace. Dushasan's palace was the most opulent palace of all the 100 brothers, even better than Duryodhan's. Dushasan's palace was very, very opulent. So Duryodhan arranged that when Krishna would come, he will stay in Dushasan's palace. He will host him in Dushasan's palace. And he had a very, very elaborate, big feast prepared for Krishna. And then he was very hospitable and he invited Krishna. Who is Duryodhan? Duryodhan, if he actually wanted to please Krishna, what will he do? Why did Krishna come there? Krishna came as a messenger. He brought a message. So if I'm a friend of Krishna's, I will try to please Krishna by giving him what he wants. What did Duryodhan do? He didn't want to give the kingdom back to Krishna. What to speak of giving the kingdom? Krishna said, give 5 villages. On my word, the Pandavas will be satisfied. Let's stop this battle. What did Duryodhan do? He said, 5 villages. I won't give you even land, that much land which can hold the tip of a needle. So is this favorable service? And then he said, Krishna, you will stay in Dushasan's palace and you will take food in my, I have arranged a feast for you, so on and so. Krishna said, no, I won't accept. I will stay at Vidur's house. He didn't accept. So although it appeared like Duryodhan was offering some service to Krishna, it was not favorable. It was not favorable service. Or you can say maybe it was even favorable. He was trying to be nice and all that, but it was anya abhilashita shunyam. That was not being fulfilled. He had some other ulterior motives behind his service. He was not doing that service to please Krishna. Yeah. So in Duryodhan's case, it would be anya abhilashita shunyam was not being satisfied. So anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena. So favorable. The point is, the service has to be done favorably. So we know what is devotional service. There are 9 types that we know of from Prahlad Maharaj's statement in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. 9 forms of devotional service. Any one of them when somebody is performing. So somebody is remembering Smaranam, that is also bhakti. So in the case of unfavorable devotional service, you would take Kamsa. Kamsa is also thinking of Krishna, wasn't he? All the time he's thinking of Krishna. But his thinking, was it favorable? Out of fear, he was thinking of Krishna. So it is not favorable. So that's the third condition, anukulyena. Now the most important, which is relevant to this shloka, is Krishna anushilanam. Krishna anushilanam. Shilanam means activity. Shilanam is activity done with your body, mind, or words. So this Shilanam actually can be of 2 types. Anushilanam. So Krishna Anushilanam means you are directly coming in contact with Krishna, and Anu means Tadiya, anything related to Krishna also. Like Tulsi Maharani. If you're worshipping Tulsi Devi, that is as good as worshipping Krishna because she is directly connected with Krishna. Or you worship today is Jannu Saptami. Jannu is the Rishi from whose ear Gangaji came out. So you go and worship today, they worship Ganga Devi. So anyone who worships Ganga Devi, that is also worshipping Krishna because she is related. We do Guru Puja in the morning. So worshipping the spiritual master also comes under Krishna Anushilanam. So Anushilanam. So how is this activity done? This is activity done either with body, mind, or words, which will bring us in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. Activity done either with body, mind, or words, which brings us in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. So let's say with body. Which activity that we do with our body will bring us in direct contact with the Supreme Lord? You're doing Aarti. Yes? So with your hands, you're showing you're offering something to the Lord. You're cooking for the Lord. You're making an offering to the Lord. You're cleaning the Lord's temple. You're bowing down before the Lord. You're going and collecting flowers for the Lord, picking vegetables for the Lord. All this is direct devotional service for the Lord, which is bringing us directly in contact with the Supreme Lord, with body. And also, if you're living in the temple, just like when I said Tadiya, the temple is also Krishna. So if you live in the temple, simply by living in the temple, you're coming in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. So that also actually satisfies the condition. Then the second point is with your words. When you chant the names of the Lord, that is bringing you, because the Lord and his name are non-different. So when you're chanting the names of the Lord, that is also bringing you in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. And of course, with the mind, when you're thinking about the Lord, you're remembering the shlokas that you have memorized in Bhagavad Gita. So that is also actually bringing you in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. So pure devotional service must satisfy all 4 conditions. So when you say Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam, means this devotional service, which is bringing you in direct contact with the Supreme Lord, should not be broken by any activity where you're not coming in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. So if you're doing some work, through that work, you're not coming in contact with the Supreme Lord because it is not direct devotional service. And so it is not all three have to be there. Any one of them is there, it is fine. If you through body or words or mind. So if you're doing some work and if your tongue is always chanting Hare Krishna, yes, condition satisfied. You're doing pure devotional service. Or you're saying something, but your mind is always absorbed in Krishna, still condition satisfied. So sadhana bhakti, Srila Rupa Goswami explains, this pure devotional service is performed. There is three types of pure devotional service. There is sadhana bhakti, there is bhava bhakti, and there is prema bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, in sadhana bhakti, this anushilanam is done as cheshta rupa. So in sadhana bhakti, your devotional service is done with body, mind, and words. Your material body, material mind, and material words. I mean, material words means the ability to speak, right? The sound vibration that's coming. So you're engaging your energy, your speaking ability in the Lord's service. You're engaging this material body in the Lord's service. And you're engaging your mind, conditioned mind, in the Lord's service. This is sadhana bhakti. And when you go to the next stage, bhava bhakti, there this anushilanam is not done with your on the level of the material body. It is actually hardra rupa or bhava rupa. Hardra means on the level of the heart. So the living entity, the spirit soul, is in the region of the heart, isn't it? So devotional service is not, although externally it appears that you're doing with your hands and you're still speaking, but actually at that stage in bhava bhakti, your body is not material. It's the beginning, it is the budding stage of your spiritual body. Your body is spiritualized. Both your gross body and subtle body is spiritualized. That means your heart is no longer made of material elements. Now the heart is spiritual. And whatever activities are done on that level, that is bhava. It is not cheshta. And from then onwards, whatever activity is done, even in the next stage, in prema stage, they are all on the spiritual platform. They are done in the spiritual body. So in bhava bhakti, that is the budding stage of your spiritual body. And then it will grow, right? It will grow and it will become full-fledged. And then there is, so this bhakti will continue. So the point is how bhakti is growing from sadhana to bhava to prema. So here, when we see this vritti, so that's the word I wanted to elaborate on, the word vritti. So in sadhana bhakti, what happens is, or even in material life, not even bhakti, the way it happens is there is a sense object. Let's say there's a rose, the sense object. And then I have my subtle body and I have my gross body. So I have this external eye. But actually, this is not the sense. This is called charma chakshu. Charma chakshu means it's like fleshy eye, right? Or just something made of skin. The real eye, the real sense is actually subtle. Even when you study biology, or you will see what we see externally, that's not the only eye. There are so many things inside, isn't it? So who is it seeing? Is it this layer of skin outside that is seeing? No, there is a sense called eye, the subtle sense. It is that subtle sense that is seeing through all these. It's just like when I wear my glasses, right? The glasses are not seeing. The eyes are seeing. But the eyes cannot see unless the glasses are there, because there's some defect in the eye. Therefore, I need glasses. Then I'll be able to see. Similarly, all these external eyes, and same with all the other senses. The external senses that we see, it's not this flesh that is seen. There is actually subtle sense inside. Behind the senses is your subtle body consisting of, it's called Antahakarana. Antahakarana consists of mind, chitta, mana, buddhi, ahankar, and chitta. Mana means mind, buddhi is intelligence, ahankar is false ego, and there is chitta. Chitta means awareness. The function of chitta is awareness. This is the subtle body. So first there is the sense object. Let's say there's a rose, and then your senses, and then your mind, intelligence, ego, and chitta. And here is the spirit soul. So first the mind, through the senses, will come in contact with the sense object. And then, like a picture that you take with a camera, right? And the impression of that is registered on your heart. That impression on the heart is called vritti. So there will be a different vritti for each of the senses. For eyes, there will be one vritti. For nose, there will be a different vritti. For the tongue, there's a different vritti. For taste, for smell, for hearing, there's a different vritti that is formed in the heart. And it is the vritti formed in the heart that the soul is enjoying. So what is happening in this material, in conditioned state? All the vrittis or impressions that are formed in the heart, they are made of the material modes. They are material mode, made of the material modes. So when we take to bhakti, when we do sadhana bhakti, there also we are using our senses, we are using our speech, we are using our mind. The object is spiritual, Krishna, you're seeing Krishna, but your mind is still material. Your senses are still material. So with your material senses, you're serving the Supreme Lord. So vrittis that are formed in your heart, the heart is still material. Heart means your subtle body is still material. That is the condition of sadhana bhakti. But by doing this, Srila Prabhupada gives the example like iron rod kept in fire. When you keep iron rod in fire, what happens? That fire gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And at one point, it is not iron rod anymore. It is fire. Prabhupada says, so if someone challenges that, how you're saying it is fire, it is still iron rod, I see it. And Prabhupada says, then I will tell him, you touch it. If it is just iron rod, you touch it. It's not, it's fire now. So similarly, even our material mind, body, words made of material senses, by being steeped in bhakti, just like that iron rod kept in fire, that will also become spiritualized. So when it is completely spiritualized, all the material element is melted away. All that remains is simply spiritual. That is called bhava bhakti. So in bhava bhakti stage, whatever impressions are formed, that vrittis that are formed on the heart, because the heart is completely spiritual and the object is of course spiritual. So all the impressions in the heart are spiritual. And this vrittis in the heart, that is what is called bhava. That is what is called bhava. And then this bhava produces other types of, you can say, activities called anubhavas. So the thing with this bhava, generally, when we see some material thing, there is no emotion in the thing. Whereas the bhava, spiritual bhava, it is filled with rasa. It's very delicious, tasty for Krishna. Not only for Krishna, for the devotee also. So when we progress in Krishna consciousness, we make ourselves very, very enjoyable for Krishna. When we advance in Krishna consciousness, when we come to the platform of bhava and prema, so prema means this bhava, now it will be mixed with other emotions and it will become, it's like a drink that you make. You know, you have this fruit punch, you have water, you have a flavor, you have sugar, you mix everything nicely and it becomes a very nice drink. So bhava is like the 5 primary rasas that we have. That is the main, that is like water in the drink. And then you put other flavors in it. So these are all these anubhavas and the other things that you mix with that. And it becomes a very tasty. And that drink is called rasa. And Krishna drinks it. And he enjoys it. So that's the whole thing. So here what is happening with Bhishma Dev, once again coming back to this verse, the stage attained by Bhishma Dev while quitting his material body is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So this Nirvikalpa Samadhi is what the yogis, Ashtanga yogis will also achieve. So that is like the final stage. The other day, last class, or maybe the class before that, I was discussing the different stages of yoga. So the last stage is Samadhi. But the Samadhi which is attained by the yogis and the Samadhi which is attained by the devotees is not the same. Why? Because the devotees are in the platform of bhava. They are in the platform of bhava. Whereas what the yogis do is they, by mechanical process, they make their hearts stone-like, hard-hearted like stone, so that no vrittis will be formed on the heart. So this is by practice. They practice in such a way that even when the senses come in touch with the sense objects, the heart becomes so hard that no impression, no vritti will be formed on the heart. And then they attain samadhi. They are not affected by anything that they see, whether pleasure or pain, it won't affect them. But in bhakti, it is not like that. In bhakti, the heart is very, very soft and enjoyable for Krishna. So that's why this Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is attained by the devotee, is not the same as the one which is attained by the yogis. And how did Bhishma Dev attain this? By merging himself into thinking of Krishna. So this is what it means to merge. Merge means you're completely absorbed. That particular sense is not used for anything save and except in the service of the Lord. So that is the state of Bhishma Dev at that time. His eyes completely absorbed in Krishna. His mind fully filled with Krishna, focused on Krishna. His words chanting the glories of Krishna. This is the state of samadhi that Bhishma Dev has attained, and Srila Prabhupada is saying this is the highest stage of perfection. And it is possible. See, this is hope for us also. It is possible for everyone to attain this stage. How? By practice of devotional service. By practice of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all the 9 processes. And Srila Prabhupada especially is giving stress on hearing. Hearing is most important. It begins with hearing. That is we are in deep slumber right now, deep sleep. So we all have experience when someone is sleeping. What is the best way to wake that person up? If you brought delicious gulab jamun and put it next to him, will that aroma wake him up from his sleep? If you brought a very beautiful painting that the person likes, if you just put it there, is it going to wake that person up? No. But if you call him, if you call his name, my dear Prabhuji, Mataji, there's danger, there's fire, wake up, the person can get up. So this sound is very, very powerful. What to speak of spiritual sound vibration? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is not different from Krishna. Krishna himself is his holy name. So the best way to awaken the sleeping conditioned soul is through hearing. So somebody may say that Bhishma Dev, he was fortunate because he had Krishna in front of him. Therefore, he was able to perfect his life. He could see Krishna. Krishna was personally there. That's why he was able to perfect his life. He was able to focus on Krishna, talk to Krishna, and look at Krishna. He was able to absorb all his senses, mind, his body in Krishna. It was possible for him. But now Krishna is not present with us. How I can do? There is hope for us also. Krishna left his words, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam behind for all of us. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, even though Lord Krishna may not be personally present, his words of the Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam are identical with the Lord. They are identical with the Lord. They are the sound incarnations of the Lord. If one can fully utilize them to be entitled to attain the stage of Sri Bhishma Dev. So we can get the same perfection as Bhishma Dev if we can take advantage of Krishna's presence in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He is very much present with us today as much as he was present with Bhishma Dev at the time of his leaving the body. The only thing is we don't have that faith. We are not able to take shelter of him like that. But anyone who is able to do that, he will be able to access the same mercy that Bhishma Dev got. And then what is the perfection? What is the culmination of all this? Ante Narayana Smritihi. Ante Narayana Smritihi. In Bengali, there's a saying, Bhajan karo, sadhan karo, marte jaan le hoy. Whatever bhajan sadhan you did in your life, that will be tested at the time of death. You may fool the whole world that I am such a great devotee, I'm such a great speaker, I'm such a this and that. That will be tested at the time of death if you are able to remember Krishna or not. How nicely, how sincerely I have heard Krishna's message. How much I have served Krishna during my life will be tested at the time of death. And one who is able to remember Krishna like Bhishma Dev at the time of death, his life is perfect. Otherwise, so many animals, birds, and so many people are dying every day. But that type of death, which is forced by the laws of nature, is death like an animal. There's no perfection in that. You just have to take another material body after this. So in this way, Srila Bhishma Dev has perfected his life by being completely absorbed in Krishna. And he has, this is the mercy of great Vaishnavas, great devotees. They use a boat. They take the boat that can take them across the ocean of material existence. But out of their compassion for all of us who are still on this side of the material existence, on this side of the ocean, they leave the boat behind. Although they cross the ocean, they leave the boat behind for us. So this is so Bhishma Dev has shown us how to perfect. So that boat is the method that they have adopted. So that method is available for us also. Whoever gets into this boat can cross across the ocean, and they can also go back to Krishna. So I will end here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. If there's any comments, questions, corrections, please welcome. Kalpesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sonia Mataji.
Yeah, you explained about the sadhan, bhav, and prem bhakti. So I'm just thinking that in any of those bhakti, is there any realization at any stage that, like, we feel ourselves as a body, like with the body, our identity is so strong that
Yes.
we feel it as a body, as like I'm a body. So is
Right.
there any realization in any of those stages?
Yes, Mataji, there is. There is realization in those stages. So it progresses gradually. Actually, when you begin, even in sadhana bhakti, so the 9 stages, is it 9 stages or 8 stages? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. 8 stages of bhakti. So as you progress from one stage to another, so actually your real bhajan begins when you start Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya. So yes, you are still identifying with the body. Your question is, does this bodily consciousness go away at any stage? Yes, it does go away. Yeah, certainly by bhava stage, it is certainly gone. Once you reach the bhava stage, then that is the budding stage. So you will not be, but even before that, when you're in asakti, the thing is, you become so absorbed in Krishna that you become completely oblivious of your material existence, of this body and of the world around. In fact, you will be seen as a crazy person because you don't connect with anything outside, not even with your own body. So we have examples of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, right? He would just eat dirt on the banks of the Ganges. Things that such exalted devotees do, you cannot even imagine an ordinary person doing. Anyone who's in bodily consciousness wouldn't be able to do such things. So yes, Mataji, it does happen. And as you progress in bhakti, in the higher stages, advanced stages, you will realize that you're not this body.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can I also ask a question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. You were explaining about the antakarant, man, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. So false ego, ahankara, identity. I am not fully, like, way I interpret this as, maybe I'm wrong, but I see this mind is where the thoughts and desire resides. Buddhi is the discrimination power which takes it. But when it comes to chit, that's where my confusion is. Where does that karmic memory resides? And is it in the subconscious, which is chitta? Is chitta is a subconscious, or is there a chitta is a cosmic intelligence? I'm confused because I have read many like different authors and all. So
Yes,
it comes to my understanding that chitta is a pure cosmic intelligence, unsullied by memory. So there is no karmic memory. There is no karmic memory. But when I see people say it as subconscious truth, so what I do in a moment right now, it becomes a residual part of my thing, and it would come back again as a subconscious. And how does it connect to our three types of bodies: gross, subtle, and casual body? I need to know the relationship. Like,
what do you mean by casual body? There is gross body and subtle body. What's casual?
Karan,
no.
Three bodies, like Sukshma,
Sthula and Sukshma, only two. There's Sthula and there's Sukshma. Sthula is your gross body, Sukshma is your subtle body. And subtle body consists of mind, intelligence, ego, and this chitta. So I can explain that, Prabhuji. So for that, you're saying cosmic consciousness. So what chitta is it is awareness. So the function of chitta is awareness. So when you enter into a room, even though you're not looking at something, You are aware, right? Like right now, there are some things that are next to me. I'm aware of my surroundings. That awareness is the function of chitta. And of course, you know, mind, intelligence, you already explained. Mind is discrimination, and I'm sorry, intelligence is discrimination. Mind is accepting, rejecting, right? Thinking, feeling, willing, that is mind. And intelligence is discrimination. And of course, false ego is identifying oneself as this body. So this chitta is, the function of chitta is awareness. Now, when you talk about cosmic awareness, so there are two things, Prabhuji. There is individual and there is universal. Just like I'm an individual, on my individual level, there is Paramatma in the body. But in the universal level also, there is Paramatma, that is Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And on the entire cosmic material creation level also, there is Paramatma, Karanodakashaya Vishnu. So at the time of creation, when Karanodakashaya Vishnu, so this is after this universe is annihilated, all the living entities are going back into Karanodakashaya Vishnu. At that time, there is no subtle body. There is no man, buddhi, ahankar, chitta. Everything is dissolved. Your body, gross body, subtle body, everything is dissolved. The spirit soul is there in Karanodakashaya Vishnu. That doesn't mean he's liberated. He is just waiting for the next opportunity to once again get a body. When the next universe is created, he will come back again. So where is all his karma now? If the subtle body is already dissolved, where is his karma residing? So there is Atma. Around the Atma is Avidya. There's a layer of Avidya. All his karma is residing in that layer of Avidya. So that Avidya is like the, you can say like the blueprint or the formula. So based on the karma in that Avidya, when there is next creation, you form a particular subtle body, your level of intelligence. That is, everyone doesn't have the same intelligence. So that is formed based on your karma. This karma is actually kept in that avidya, the layer of avidya. And what you talk about the cosmic awareness or chitta, so at the time of creation, these elements are also there in a dormant state because everything is dissolved now. So how does creation begin? They're all in their seed form. They're all there. The material ingredients are there in a seed form like a cloud. And Mahavishnu or Karanodakashaya Vishnu glances on Prakriti. Prakriti. So the ingredients, they are in the form of Prakriti, in the form of a cloud. And Lord Mahavishnu is glancing on Prakriti. Because when he's glancing, what is he doing? He is impregnating Prakriti with all these conditioned souls. So now Prakriti becomes impregnated. She becomes like a pregnant lady. And now she is called Pradhana after she is impregnated with all the living entities. These living entities, when she actually gives birth to the baby, that baby is called Mahat or Mahat Tattva. So this Mahat is nothing but the universal awareness. So individually it is called Chitta. Universally it is called Mahat. And from this Mahat, further creation will continue. So first the three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, they are activated. So at every stage, there is the glance of the Supreme Lord. And then there is activation. The time element also comes at this time. Space, everything is created. After the Lord glances, then everything is activated. So now, in the mode of goodness, so false ego is the first one that is coming into picture. After Mahat, first Mahat, then Mahat is producing false ego in goodness. False ego in goodness is creating the demigods and the mind. Then false ego in passion is creating intelligence and the senses. False ego in ignorance is creating the gross elements, and the sense objects. So now all the ingredients are in place. Let's say you have to make bread. You need all the ingredients. They're all set there. And then the universal shell is formed. And now Lord Brahma is created. What Lord Brahma does is he'll mix the flour, the water, the salt, and the yeast and everything, and he'll make the dough, and then the bread is coming. So what Lord Brahma's function is, he is actually assigning bodies to different living entities. Everyone is there now. They're all there in this Mahat. The living entities are there. All the mind, intelligence, ego, senses, sense objects, everything is there. According to our karma, he's assigning each living entity a particular body. That is how creation progresses. So what Mahavishnu creates, that's called Sarga or primary creation. And what Lord Brahma creates is called Visarga or secondary creation. Is that okay, Kalpesh Prabhu?
Yeah, no, thank you for the explanation. I appreciate that.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So if there is,
So much to learn.
I know.
So much to learn. God. I don't know how I can grasp all this.
No need, Mataji, all this we learn so that we can get that conviction that it is only by bhakti that we can perfect our lives. If you're able to do bhakti, right, if you can, then the purpose of all this is to get that conviction. And then after you get this conviction, you start doing bhakti. So if you're doing bhakti, you put all your attention on that Shravanam, as Srila Prabhupada says.
That's all I'm doing.
Yes.
That's all I'm doing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, that's all I'm doing. I cannot go all into this depth of knowledge, all what you're saying. I can understand it as part of the moment.
Yeah.
But so it's very hard to go that depth, What Brahmaji did, what universe did, what Shirodak Sai, Garbhodak Sai did. Oh, no. So I pray like Bhishma Dev praying. That's what that I want to do that.
And that's the perfection, Mataji.
Thank you very much for a nice class.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very knowledgeable.
So shall we end the class here? It's already 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivind ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much.